mic all right? It's a bit noisy. I'm going to replace it. Yeah, on that drum.
One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Away from. Welcome back to the United Cup here from the Pat Rafter Arena in Brisbane. We're getting set to continue a group stage match between Team Poland and Team Kazakhstan. It's a number 2 men's singles match between Daniel Michalski of Poland and Timofey Skatov of Kazakhstan. Poland 1 love ahead in the tie after a win for world number 1 Iga Swiatek. And as you can see, the players are just going through the final stages and preparations before heading out onto court. Always a few butterflies at this stage. Looks like we're ready to go.
Please give a hand to our players for the second match today. Representing Kazakhstan, Timofey Skatov, led out by team captain Alexander Bublik. And their opponent, representing Poland, please give a very warm welcome to Daniel Michalski, led out by non-playing captains Agnieszka Radwanska and David Selt.
So Daniel Michalski representing Team Poland and Timofey Skatov for Team Kazakhstan, the number 2 men's singles, the second rubber in this tie between Kazakhstan and Poland. My name's Colin Fleming. Delighted to say that Jeff Masters has changed from the ad court to the juice court here, is joining me for this one. Jeff, good win for Swiatek and an important singles coming up here.
Yeah, it was, Colin. And yeah, Swiatek was, as we would expect, very professional and just went about her business aggressively when she had the opportunity and got the job done quickly for Team Poland. And looking forward to this men's singles, though, because Skatov was a promising, or has been a promising junior player for sure. Former world number 1, in fact, had wins over Draper, Musetti and Nakashima. So interested to see how he performs. And Michalski, 22 years of age, still young as well. Hasn't really played much at this level, primarily been at the ITF level. So big step up.
That was a nice moment. Get a picture with the players.
Okay, just a couple of reminders before we start. We have towel bins around the baselines. When you approach them, you see your country flag in it, so you know which one's yours. Shot clocks are on the scoreboards behind me and just here. And the system will make all the calls. If you want to see any additional replays, just let me know and we'll bring them up. Any questions? No? Your choice, heads or tails? Heads? Okay. Tails it is. Receive? Thank you.
Miriam Bley from Germany, the umpire, taking care of the housekeeping. Michalski winning the toss, and as so often these days on tour, electing to receive.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I think there has been such a shift to the desire of everybody to be good from the back of the court. The rackets and the strings now able to impart so much more spin. So the ability of players from the back of the court has improved so much. And that we're seeing many of the players, like in men's tennis, Nadal and Djokovic and Murray, and probably the return of serve is their strength. So it's a bit of a switch from how it used to be maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago, where serve was more the dominant force.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you alluded to earlier, Jeff, we've got two young, promising players here, and in particular, Timofey Skatov, a former world #1 junior. At the very beginning of 2018, he hit the heights of the junior game, and still just 21 years of age. Born in Kazakhstan, but moved to Russia at a young age, and then latterly to Valencia in Spain as a 17-year-old to continue his development, and currently ranked 142 in the world. That's just one off his career high of 141, 1m75. Not the biggest player on tour, 5'9", but a solid baseline game, and I'm sure we'll see, Jeff, that sort of Spanish influence from his development from the back of the court.
Yeah, I should think so. You know, as you said, he's not a particularly tall man, so, you know, let's assume he'll be quick, he'll be well balanced, and he'll probably be with a little bit more shape at the ball than he would had he not moved to Spain.
And his opponent, the #2 singles player here at the United Cup, Daniel Michalski, also a promising junior in his own right. He hit the heights of 19 in the junior rankings in 2018, at the same time Skatov was at the summit. Just 22 years of age, currently ranked 262 in the world. He has been as high as 243 in the summer of this year in July, so very much trying to establish himself on the Challenger Tour and try and make a break for that main ATP Tour. It's a big opportunity for both of these young players. He's a little taller than Skatov, 5'11". The first meeting between the two in either senior or junior tennis, but they will know a lot about each other, I'm sure, from having been successful juniors and watched each other come through into the senior ranks. A little more success so far for Skatov. He won a Challenger earlier this year. Played just 4 tour level matches so far, but he did qualify for the Australian Open and probably has just slightly more experience, as we see the Kazakh team captain, Alexander Bublik. Imagine having him as a captain.
Yeah, a bit of a challenge, because he's quite the character, isn't he? He looks like he enjoys life, and he's one of those fellows you're just not sure what you're going to get at any particular time. So you have to have that mindset, I guess, when you're being captained by that sort of a personality. So it should be fun, whichever way you want to look at it.
Yeah, I understand yesterday he decided that the Kazakhstan team were going to have a fun practice and had 6 of them on the court at the same time having a hit. So bringing something different to the role, and I'm sure there'll be lots of fun and trying to keep Timofey Skatov nice and relaxed for this important match. They're yet to get on the board at the United Cup, Team Kazakhstan, but it's fair to say Skatov will start as slight favourite here, and they'll like the chances of getting that first win, as we see David Selt, the Team Poland captain, along with Agnieszka Radwanska, of course, a familiar face, not long retired. I'm sure they'll have plenty of knowledge and expertise to pass on to Daniel Michalski in this one.
Has Polish tennis, it hasn't been one of the leading tennis nations of the world, I suppose, if you look back over years. But gee, she raised the profile of Polish tennis, didn't she? Just the way she played as well, it was so exciting. And I mentioned a little earlier today, she was a fan favourite winner most years for the way she played and the variety that she brought to the tour. And of course now we've got Hologic in the men's game, who's a terrific player. So, you know, Poland have got some they've got some chances to take you know, certainly further steps in this United Cup. Whether they can go all the way or not is problematic, because there's so many good teams, but you know, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
You can just see sitting down there behind Timofey Skatov, that's his full-time coach on tour, Jose Altur. Trains at Jose's academy in Valencia. And we are ready to go here in Brisbane on the Pat Rafter Arena. #2 men's singles between Timofey Skatov, Team Kazakhstan, and Daniel Michalski of Team Poland. Skatov to kick things off. It's been a fairly overcast and, well, as a Scotsman, I would know, drizzly couple of days here in Brisbane, but the sun has broken through this evening. You can see just a slightly awkward shadow here on the court to start this one.
It's a little difficult, isn't it, when the ball comes out of the shadow and into the sunlight, just your perception and ability to determine the speed flight of the ball is compromised a little.
As we mentioned, Skatov, not the tallest of players, but heavy kick on the first serve.
Standing wide to serve as well, right up towards the sideline, which enables him to get more width with that kick serve. It's a tactic that is used quite a lot on the clay courts of Europe. Stand wide and kick the ball out wide to the ad court.
A strict diet of first serves and a solid start for Timofey Skatov. He's on the board nicely. There's Jose Altur in the Navy polo. Very experienced, former Spanish player and coach to some well-known names. Igor Andreev, David Ferrer, Daniel Jimeno Traver, and very much putting his mark on Skatov's game. You can see it already with the serve position you mentioned, Jeff.
Interesting character, Skatov. He says his best quality is he's responsible. His worst is he's easily bored. I'm not sure if they go hand in hand, do they? Not sure.
Well, hopefully won't be getting too bored as a tennis player.
Representing Team Holland to serve.
Michalski kicking things off in his United Cup campaign. Jeff, I mentioned Michalski playing his first match here at the United Cup. Skatov, of course, has already been on this court once. He lost a tight match, a good quality match to Marc-André Hüsler of Switzerland, 4-6, 6-3, 6-3. How much of an advantage is that, having already been out here in this arena?
Yeah, just to answer your question there, Colin, a definite advantage. I mean, you get a better sense of the speed of the conditions and just the whole vibe. You know, it's a familiar environment, so that's a plus. The negative is that his opponent was a left-hander. Now he's against a fellow who's playing obviously with the opposite hand. It doesn't serve anything near the same, but certainly a little bit of an advantage having been here and done that.
Skatov goes long.
30-15.
In order to get a sense, both these players will be plying their trade from the back of the court. Expect some extended rallies. Just fell off the forehand there. Potentially awkward first service game here from Michalski. Good pace on the first serve, 195 kilometers an hour getting the unreturn.
He's made pretty good strides in the last 12 months, just 424 in the world a year ago, now 260. So, you know, if you're making those sort of strides consistently, it doesn't take long to get up into the top echelon, but the pyramid does get narrower and a little bit more difficult to climb as you get closer to that top 100.
And there's the power that Skatov can bring on the forehand wing. We saw it against Husler in his first match. Definitely the weapon that he looks for.
See, they're just a little late. These conditions here are being spoken of as being medium to medium quick.
Advantage, Team Holland.
She was really good yesterday, Zibek Kulimbayeva, in the singles and the mixed, ranked 400 in the world, but the way she played, I think she'll be in the top 150 or so quickly. She seems invested to get better. There she is. I was chatting with Dmitry Tursunov at length this morning, so perhaps there's some information gathering going on there.
Yeah, good hitting again from Skatov, forcing the error. It's one of the real features of the United Cup. There's obviously a good number of the stars of the sport here. We saw Swiatek on court prior to this one, but an opportunity for players like Michalski and Skatov trying to make their way in the game to
be surrounded by them.
Yeah, play on a big stage and build some confidence.
Yep, soak up the information.
That's another big hit from
Advantage,
Skatov, forcing the error, and brings up an opportunity here for a break and a really quick start. Michalski just looking a little anxious early on here. But a good first serve sees off the trouble. Looks to be one of his main weapons, that first serve.
Yeah, he's got some good speed, and he's mixing up the direction appreciably. Be annoyed with that miss, Skatov, just a regulation backhanded juice. Sort of waited for the ball to get to him a little much, in my opinion. You've got to take those opportunities by going out to meet the ball. Don't let the ball come to you. Go to it.
Game, Team
so
Poland.
Michalski able to fend off the break point and come through his opening service game to level things up. And that'll do him the world of good, you would think.
Yes, indeed. Another 15, 20 minutes or so, and the challenges of the mottled sunlight might have disappeared to make life a little easier for both players. It's almost exclusively one end of the court at the moment, the sun.
After the forehand,
15 last.
Flat strike, but just flying long on it.
Around 5,500 this stadium holds. It's not full, certainly, but it's still well attended. Every session has been very respectable as far as the interest.
.30 left.
Quite like the idea there. Took that second serve very early, trying to get the ball on the way up, take time away for the opponent, but just didn't quite position himself well enough or quickly enough. Didn't time it as sweetly as he'd like. Michalski, that is.
.40-11.
Skatov not quite the same pace as Michalski on the serve, but he's using that heavy spin first serve, good percentage, and on course for a quick service hold here. Oh, it's a beautifully constructed point from Timofey Skatov.
Team Kazakhstan leads.
And on serve here in the early stages, Skatov leads 2-1. Brisbane City, population of just a little under 2.5 million people. A metropolitan city. They take advantage of great weather, outdoor lifestyle. Story Bridge, a real icon of the city. And South Bank Parkland as well. You can see the beach life there right in the heart of Brisbane. Fantastic place to live, a fantastic place to come and watch elite level sport.
And Brisbane has been starved of certainly tennis for a couple of years with COVID, of course. So I think tennis fans are delighted to have this United Cup now in operation this time of year. Lots of people on holidays and really enjoy their sport in the summertime. And I think, even despite the fact that this event was, it was late in its evolution, but the crowd has been very invested.
Time.
Well, it's New Year's Eve. That young lady has her party dress on.
She does
Jeff,
indeed.
as we can see the win predictor pre-match there. 63% to 37 in Skatov's favour. It's just increased. He's got the 2-1 lead.
It's easily changes its mind, the win predictor. It doesn't take much in the win to give it a little different view. Oh, all the hard work was done.
He set that point up so nicely.
As you said, Colin, I think this is the sort of point we're going to see more of. They're both much more comfortable from the back of the court, and that's disappointing for Skatov there, having just manipulated the point in the way he wanted.
That's a big serve. Looking to serve volley behind it, had it come back into play, so positive tennis from Michalski. Second ace
40-11
of the match for Michalski.
40-15.
Forehand just flies long, and looks like Michalski's heading over to his towel.
Just a couple of times on that forehand, he's been a little late getting the racket head through. And when the ball's flying and quite bouncy, you're going to find if you're a little late, you're going to balloon it long more often than not.
That's the modern way. They're taking big cuts at the ball. More big hitting from Timofey Skatov in particular, and
40-30.
this fourth game just becoming potentially interesting. Another big first serve, and Michalski gets himself out of the game. And as he sends the balls down the other end of the court, we can quickly check in with our man courtside. Josh Eagle has made his way nimbly into position. Josh, how are we doing?
It was a struggle, but I'm here eventually, and a good start from both players. Court is quick at the moment, and that's because there's a fair bit of heat in this stadium at the moment. The sun is shining. There's just that little bit of a shadow just moved across the court now, but I'm impressed with Skatov. He's looking confident. He's played a match out here a few days ago. For me, he looks more confident of the two. I just think Michalski looks a little tight, a little anxious, as you would expect. It's a big occasion for him representing his nation here at the United Cup, but a match that promises to sort of have a lot of really quality ball striking from the baseline. Both guys very, very comfortable at the back.
Well, as Josh says, there's the big hitting from the baseline, and the confidence from Skatov willing to come in and take that ball out the air.
Yeah, you'd expect them to be looking for that opportunity a little bit more, because such is the power from the back of the court. They'll have opportunities to come forward if the opponent happens to defend with a lofted ball. So let's hope that continues.
And more drive volume from Skatov.
30-15.
Yeah, you just have to be careful here that the ball doesn't drop too low, but it was high enough just for him to go for that drive volley. Obviously very confident with that particular backhand volley.
Captain Bublik in the background there. He's still got the calf support on. He's
40-15.
committed to that calf support, even as captain.
Could be a fashion statement, perhaps.
You never know with Mr. Bublik. There he is. Looking very studious with the glasses as well.
(40-30).
First double for Skatov. Doesn't look a player that's going to hit too many double faults. He's got good grip on the ball, plenty of spin.
Deuce.
Just been a feature of his game in these early stages. Some good tennis, but scattering of unforced errors as well. That's 7 now for the Kazakh.
Advantage, Team Kazakhstan.
A lot of the errors are going long, as Josh said a little earlier. It's reasonably quick, so the ball's flying perhaps a little bit more than players would expect, and they haven't quite got their range adjusted as yet.
Polish captains there, Radwanska and Selt. A little anxious. That's big hitting on the forehand from Skatov, and having been pegged back to deuce, comes through another service game. He leads 3-2. So plenty of beaches and sunshine in Brisbane, plenty of culture as well. The Brisbane powerhouse, almost 100-year-old building that's been transformed into an arts centre, a home for contemporary culture in Queensland. An annual calendar packed with festivals, events, a host of smaller events as well, celebrating many cultures that call Brisbane home. Looks like the kind of place, Jeff, we might catch you on a morning off.
I'm not quite sure how to answer that. It's not one of my strengths, cultural expertise, but I have been there to the Gallery of Modern Art. It's not quite the same as some of those in Melbourne. It's got a strong cultural focus, but Brisbane's got a share.
Interesting here in the Team Kazakh bench, Captain Alexander Bublik and Skatov's coach, Jose Altur. Not much information being passed on, obviously keeping things fairly clear.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because you need to have a tight understanding with your player as to how much they like or don't like. Some players like very minimal input, others like plenty. So you'd imagine that they've already had that discussion.
So early stages here in this #2 men's singles. Michalski to serve 2-3. Plenty of young fans inside the Pat Rafter Arena for this one. Just long there from Skatov. Michalski getting away with one on the volley.
Sure did, a very pushy volley. It was neither a drop volley or an aggressive volley. It was really a nothing shot, and it gave an opportunity to Skatov to do something with it. And a little barely missing. He'll need to do more with that volley in future, Michalski.
Big hit there on the forehand.
30 love.
Josh, it certainly feels from the comms box that these guys are really going after it from the back of the court. How's it looking from courtside?
Yeah, absolutely. Unloading, really loading up. Nice wide base with their technique and movement setting up into the ball, but just swinging incredibly hard. The modern day tennis player swings hard. They've got the equipment to match it. So the ball just absolutely flying at the moment down here courtside.
That's a good second serve there. Looks to have settled into this match after a slightly nervy opening service game.
Game, Team Poland.
And a love hold for Michalski. Levels things up at 3-all.
I just get a feeling at the moment that both players are just starting to get the timing of the court. They're starting to just lose any initial tension that was clearly visible. And I think from this point on, we're going to see the best of these two players. 6 games in, the sweat is up, adrenaline's pumping, and most of the tension is now just left, we would imagine.
La 15.
I can just see the work rate there. Kilojoules per shot. Michalski significantly higher, 7.3 to Skatov's 5.9, so he's really putting everything into the ball.
$15-all.
Yeah, this is pretty impressive, isn't it? This ball striking here, and just if you can get a shot of it as this match goes on, I'm sure Skatov's using a full length racket. By that I mean the full legal length. The handle is incredibly long on this racket, and he's obviously doing that, striving for more power, a little bit of extra reach.
Well, it looks very much in the mould of one of the players that his coach Jose Altuve used to work with, Igor Andreev. It's a similar racket, Josh, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is. It's a very powerful racket. Both these guys are using powerful rackets, but Skatov here in picture, that's got to be. That's a long handle, long racket for sure, and a wide string pattern.
Yeah, he's not the biggest of guys, 5'9". Looking for every bit of power and reach he can get out of his frame. Oh, plenty of power out of it there on the backhand. What a strike.
Terrific racket head speed, got a lot of pace off the ball and just enough shape as well to get some safety. And wicked angle, racket head speed, full on.
And an important point to find it on. 3-all, 30-all now. Oh, there's a similarly good strike from Michalski.
Yeah, we just surmised that it was about the 3-all stage where things would heat up. Players starting to get the rhythm, the timing, and this is a sensational strike. Still behind the baseline by a metre or so, but what racket speed, and all coming off beautifully.
Well, he tried to find the space down the line.
Not a good choice, though, is it? You know, you've got a game point and you're pushed wide. You've got to respect your position, go back cross-court, keep it in play. That was a high-risk shot at a time when he needed to play something a little bit more conservative. Quality defence was in order.
Just couldn't quite finish the job.
Advantage, Team Kazakhstan.
Point, wasn't it? But I think good decision from Skatov there. Didn't try and pass. He just wanted to make the ball difficult for his opponent, who's looked a little shaky at the net. So good decision, I think. No panic there from the young man from Kazakhstan.
Yeah, it wasn't the softest of hands from Michalski, and sensible from Skatov to make him play. Point now to get out of this service game. Well, it's a pattern we're seeing over and over. Skatov looking for the forehand from the backhand side, and there is always that space in the forehand corner.
Advantage, Team Kazakhstan.
Yulia Putintseva back in the team zone. Tough match for her to kick off this tie. A loss to Iga Swiatek. She won't be the only player that loses to Swiatek this year.
Game, Team
So
Kazakhstan.
a tough hold
change,
for
please.
Timofey
New
Skatov,
balls.
but he keeps his nose in front.
Team
Still on
Kazakhstan
serve
leads
here.
by 4-3.
And a little smile there for Alexander Bublik, who I'm sure will be out and about in Brisbane enjoying some high-quality food and drink. Dining scene can be very sophisticated here, but there's also lots of lovely casual outdoor eateries to make the most of the environment. Microbreweries are very in at the moment, and they're popping up all over Brisbane. I tell you what, it's a tough time of day to be watching these pictures, making me hungry and thirsty. And there's no doubt Brisbane are high quality when it comes to food and drink.
I'm always hungry and thirsty.
We'll get a couple of bottles of water maybe sent down for you, Josh. We'll have something stronger later for the celebrations of New Year.
Interesting to know what sort of suggestions were coming his way there, Michalski. I think at this level it's about decision making, isn't it? And we mentioned that at one stage he had a game point. They're hard to come by, and you've got to play those points strategically well. And I think his choice of shots occasionally have been wanting, but that's what you learn as you climb up the ladder. You've got to make good decisions as well as being able to hit the ball swiftly.
So 33 minutes on the clock. It's been a tough contest early on here. New balls will come into play, and Michalski will look to put them to good effect, serving at 3-4. See there the speed of the new ball through the court.
15 left.
Just a little too much on the return
15
for Michalski. You can see there the unforced errors that have been apparent for both of these young players looking to make their mark. Skatov playing just his 6th tour level match. He's got 1 win. Michalski only his 2nd.
30-15.
Big opportunity here for these two players, and I think that's been apparent in the early stages.
Yes, just you know, match maturity, experience maturity. Just not quite there yet, but they'll learn plenty from being out here in this environment at this United Cup, being surrounded by world-class players.
Big hitting from Skatov, but Michalski able to hang in the point and land a big blow of his own.
Shows you, doesn't it, the depth of world tennis, both in men's and women's tennis. These are wonderful ball strikers. Their rankings still got a way to go to get to the top echelon, so it's just a tough gig to make it to top 100, top 50. Need to be exceptionally good.
Michalski
and Team Holland
holding the more comfortably of the two players.
4 games on.
And able to level things up here.
No, you make a good point, Jeff. You know, when I'm sitting here courtside, these guys are absolutely ripping it. It's flying off the racket. But I think the point of difference is the serve. I think, particularly for Skatov, I think he's an exceptional ball striker from the baseline. But if he can just get a little more out of his serve and get that 1 or 2 free points every service game like the top 50 players do, I think that's what sets these guys apart, and that's why they're not ranked a little higher at this stage in their respective careers.
Yeah, the fastest
Last
serve
15.
of the match so far for Timofey Skatov, 112 miles per hour. It's not a big serve really by modern standards, although he isn't really flattening it out. Opportunity perhaps here for Michalski.
Yeah, I'd just like to see Skatov get up to the line and try and
15.
flatten the serve out a little more and try and win 1 or 2 free points, as I mentioned before. And I just think at the moment his mindset is to get up to the line and use that as to start the rally, a big heavy kick serve. And I think that, you know, the top players in the world, they don't play like that. They play a lot more aggressively with that first serve and back themselves on a second serve.
30-15.
Yeah, I think you make good points, Josh. I guess the only thing working against Skatov from that regard on serve, he's not as tall as most of the guys these days. 5'9", 175 centimeters. We've got guys out there that are, you know, 6'5" and 6". They just long, so that they can pound down the serves a little bit more risk-free. But I take your point. I think he does have to flatten a few out because the game has always been about the serve and or the return. So if you're not excelling with a big serve and getting free points, you better be really good with your returns, because nothing's ever going to change in that regard. Serve and return, the backbone of the game.
Oh, nicely tracked down there from Skatov. Michalski just giving him half a chance, and he certainly took it.
Team Kazakhstan leads by 5 games to 4.
A little too much air time on the volley. A beautifully worked forehand, and Skatov moves ahead 5-4. Well, it's New Year's Eve, and there is plenty of nightlife in Brisbane. It's a pretty city at night, easy to get around. And like most big cities, there's also the big wheel in the centre of town. Plenty of food and drink to enjoy this evening as well. So there's been some promising tennis from both players here. We are now right in the business end of this opening set, and Michalski will serve to stay in it. Heavy hitting early on from Skatov, but Michalski is able to hold that baseline.
Yeah, he's playing more closely to the baseline than his opponent, minimizing the risk by doing so.
Skatov able to level the game at 15-all, and just changes the dynamic. Tricky for Michalski here, serving to stay in the set. Every point becomes a big one. Mistimed the forehand, and now the pressure really starts to build.
Yeah, he was a little hesitant there. Michalski didn't really commit to the shot. He had the opening he was looking for. Tension building. Well, he'll rue that mistake.
40-30.
Just another millimetre or so higher, and he was going to give himself a set point.
There for the taking for Skatov, a disappointing error. Michalski
Game.
cashes in,
Team Holland.
able to come through an awkward game from 15-30 and once again level things up. It feels like an opportunity missed there for Timofey Skatov.
Yeah, absolutely. He got into position nicely. He loves that inside-out forehand and just found the top of the tape. So a millimetre here or there can make all the difference.
His coach Jose Altura making a few notes there. Looks like that's going to be discussed post-match.
Please don't miss that short forehand again, I think it said.
Yeah, that would be a tough one to take as a player, but as a coach as well. He'd done all the hard work. This time he converts.
Yeah, he looks so solid once he gets himself into a rally, Skatov. Great shape of shot. He flights it well here. It looks really safe, so it's got to be disappointing in that last game to miss that short forehand. But just one thing to keep an eye on, this serve is becoming so predictable. He has literally hit every serve as a kicker to the backhand to start the point. And there he goes again. I just think he needs a little more variation as well, even if you're going to serve a big kicker as your first serve. There's nothing wrong with going to different locations in the box. You just cannot just keep hitting it to the backhand.
Well, your point was made apparent there because his opponent sitting on that shot, took it so early and dispatched with it. So perfect timing, Josh, for that comment.
Yeah, Hawkeye, just to your point, Josh, confirming there's only been 3 serves in the whole match to the Michalski forehand.
And I think, you know, when you grow up probably
40,
predominantly
15.
playing on clay and, you know, the ball gets up and it's from a young age to a kid's backhand, I can see how it happens, but you know, he needs to make an adjustment here, Skatov. He has to have more variation.
Game.
Well, he must have heard
Team
Josh
Kazakhstan.
Eagle from courtside changing things up,
Team
getting the ace.
Kazakhstan leads by 6 games
And
to
once
5.
again, Michalski is going to have to serve to stay in this opening set. So we mentioned the Brisbane nightlife at the previous change of ends. A very pretty city at night, easy to get around. And you could take in the lights of the Story Bridge, one of the bars, one of the microbreweries, restaurants at Howard Smith Wharfs. It's a popular dining out destination, and I'm sure it will be packed, especially around that big wheel as so many cities now have. It's a beautiful CBD, as they call it here in Australia, and plenty to do.
It's not too much discussion. And, team Polish coaching environment. Seems as if they're quite happy with how things are going. A little bit more now.
Time.
So half chances for both of these players so far, but yet to have a break of serve. Daniel Michalski of Poland serving to take us into an opening set tiebreak. Good defense there from Skatov, but
15
Michalski eventually just overpowering him. There's not a huge amount of feel and finesse to these attacks, but they're effective when he gets it right.
You just get the sense there's an opportunity for a few short balls, the odd drop shot, because both players are, when they've got a short ball, are hammering it, which forces the opponent to move back. So if they're going to move back, just mix it up with the odd short ball from time to time.
Slightly late with the move forward and paid the price in the end.
15-30.
Hasn't looked that comfortable coming forward, has he? I mean, kudos to him for endeavouring to make something happen. Just the skill level and the feel and the ability to position yourself appropriately is not quite where it needs to be as yet.
So just as the 5-4 game, 15-30 on the Michalski serve. But unlike the 5-4 game, Timofey Skatov able to turn it into a couple of break points and 2 set points indeed. Real opportunity here for the Kazakh. First break point saved. Bublik looking a little tense, keen for Skatov to convert on this second set point. Oh, that's great tennis from Daniel Michalski, stepping up to the plate under pressure.
Did well and was presented with an opportunity by the virtue of the return to serve, which lands very short. That's what enabled Michalski to take charge, made good ground to the net very quickly, and wasn't going to let that ball drop at all. Good stuff.
Once again, Skatov leaves the return in the middle of the court and he's punished in style.
Advantage, Team Poland.
Yeah, just too short. It takes some courage from Michalski, but nevertheless, you know, just more depth of the return, and you just take that pressure off yourself and put it back on your opponent.
Deuce.
Just has a little tendency, Michalski, to just open up a little early on that forehand, just rotates a little bit quickly. He's hit some really good forehands, and he's made a few untidy ones as well. Oh, he's made it.
It's more heavy hitting from Timofey Skatov, and arguably the best forehand he's hit so far.
Certainly very timely, just right on the line.
And a third set point. Can he capitalize this time? Gone long with a forehand. Big miss hit. Yes.
Yeah, I think he's paying the price here, Skatov. He is standing so deep to return. If you're going to stand that deep and get a second serve on set point, that has to be a forehand. You have to get around, use your footwork, rip the forehand, get a heavy return in, so then you can jump on a short ball. But every set point, he's been deep and he's hit a backhand on a second serve return.
Yeah, he's looking like he's hoping to win the set points rather than making them his. Another look at a second serve here. Perhaps just
advantage, Team Kazakhstan.
pressure getting to Michalski. It's his first double fault of the match.
And even if you get a second serve and it is set point, you want to be trying to catch the server's eye a little bit, moving around at the moment. I just think he's just standing a bit one-dimensional, very deep.
Oh, he's made it. Michalski able to take control, facing set point again. And once again, he delivers. Approaching the 10th minute of this 12th game, and it's a cagey affair. Well, the tension's increasing and the decibels are increasing as well. And it's another
Advantage, Team
big
Kazakhstan.
forehand from Skatov. And this is the kind of point that has eluded him on the set points so far. And he's got a fifth opportunity now to seal this opening set. Just goes long. It's a good serve from Michalski. And the more set points you have, Jeff, the harder it can be to take one.
Yeah, I think your point was right before. I think from time to time Skatov's just been playing a little bit too defensively, playing not to lose as opposed to playing to win on some of those big points.
Advantage, Team Poland.
Danny Michalski making his United Cup debut here for Team Poland, showing some really good fight. Trying to will himself through a hold of serve here and take us to the breaker.
Deuce.
Safe to say that's a forehand he'd love to have back. Tried to hit that one about 200 miles an hour when I think 20 would have done it.
Just a regular hammer instead of the sledgehammer, perhaps.
Big hitting.
I think they've both decided that the answer is to just hit it harder.
Advantage, Team Poland.
Skatov again deeper in the court. Michalski, you can see right up on the baseline at 148 kilometers an hour. It's been a real war of attrition this 12th game. And Michalski,
Team Poland.
a nice change-up, able to come through. 5 set points come and go for Timofey Skatov.
6 games all. Tiebreak.
After an hour and 3 minutes, it will be a tie-break to decide this opening set.
Yeah, very proactive he was there when under stress. He was the one holding the baseline position, trying to make things happen, and some of those returns from Skatov were short. There's no hesitation from his opponent. So where do we go from here? Tie break.
One, 0, Team Kazakhstan.
Skatov be disappointed to miss those set points, but he's just got to put them out of his mind for now. Michalski once again quick to recognize the chance to move forward.
1-0.
That's another big hit.
2-1, Team Poland.
Josh, it looks pretty apparent that as the pressure builds here, these guys are just upping the ante.
Yeah, their mentality, this younger generation have grown up where they can hit winners from 2-3 meters behind the baseline, and when they're tight, they just tend to swing even harder, and that's what we're seeing out here. And I do think there's a lot of room for both of these players just to develop a little bit of extra skill set. And by that I mean developing a slice, a chip shot, just to sometimes take a little heat or a little pace out of the rally, just to change it up, just to have a couple of extra strings to your bow. I think it's really crucial if you want to move into the top 100.
Yeah, we haven't seen a huge amount of variety to this point. But we've got a mini break now.
3-2, Team Poland.
Overpowering Skatov. A real test for the Kazakh now, having had the 5 set points behind in the tie break. Can he respond? Michalski again pounces on the short return.
Team Poland.
And you can't help but be impressed with the character and the energy he's bringing.
Yeah, you know, the self-belief, I think, is impressive for this young man. It's a stressful situation out there playing for your country. The match has been tight. He's been in trouble, but he's just played the ball on its merit, forgetting about what the score is. If it was short, he was going after it, committed to it, and has been rewarded so far.
I can see a real spring in his step now. Michalski. He's got the momentum. Certainly believing that he's going to be the one to win this opening set.
Team Poland.
A big fist pump. Outlasting Skatov from the back of the court. And this really is tipping in his favor. There's a lot of energy at Skatov's end of the court in this tiebreak. Not a huge amount of end product so far. Under pressure here, serving 2-5.
Five-3, Team Poland.
Still prepared to back himself. He looks as if he's got that self-belief. Trying not to think too much about the score, just playing what he sees in front of him and backing himself. Michalski we're talking about.
Heartbreaker for Michalski.
5-4.
It was probably on, wasn't it? He was inside the baseline. There was room. He only needed another centimetre or so. It was going to be an outright winner. He had his opponent in the backhand corner. It was worth a try.
5-2 becomes 5-4. Crunch time now for these two young men. But again, Skatov very deep in the court and unable to track down the first serve from Michalski, who, having saved 5 set points at 5-6, now brings up a couple of set points of his own.
That's just where he occasionally opens up a little early, and it happens because his head looks down the court a little too soon. So if your head turns early, your body turns early, and you just open up and you lose the rotation of the ball.
Possibly as a result of being over anxious to win that point. He's got a second set point here. Once again, he goes long. I'm starting to wonder if either of these players want to win this opening set as we continue.
Didn't quite time that last backhand. Got it up high on the frame.
Very different look to Daniel Michalski now from even just a few points ago where he was bouncing around the court.
Yeah, it's a bit of a test of his emotional resolve here now.
Skatov now who springs out from his team zone. Third point in a row. The error comes from the racket of Daniel Michalski.
Team Kazakhstan.
And having had 5 set points in the 12th game of the set, Timofey Skatov has a 6th. But again, Michalski able to move forward.
7-0.
Well, as Josh mentioned earlier, he's certainly mixing up his serve much better than his opponent. And that's allowing him to be the recipient of some defensive returns.
Oh, brilliant from Skatov. High quality ball striking and pouncing on the short forehand this time.
Team Kazakhstan.
It's a very heavy forehand, isn't it? Yeah. Maneuvered, manipulated until he finally got the shot that he wanted.
Set point number 7 for Timofey Skatov, but the first on his own serve. And this time,
game and for set.
Skatov seals it. A real arm wrestle of an opening set. Both players with set points.
By 7 games to 6.
But it's Team Kazakhstan's Timofey Skatov who seals it 7-6 in 76 minutes.
Well, I think it was an appropriate finish, really, to a set that just ebbed and flowed in both directions. If we have a look at the set summary, first set percentages are both very good. Skatov winning a high percentage of points off that first serve. Break points won out of 6 for Skatov. So both players having some opportunities. Certainly Skatov had plenty of opportunities. Well, they both did, let's face it. So either player, had they lost that set, was going to be disappointed. So it's going to be up to Michalski now to see what he's made of, if he's able to put that aside and move on to the second set. As we look at some highlights here, and there was lots happening from the back of the court, some heavy forehands in particular from Skatov. Didn't make too many ventures to the net because he was playing deeply behind the baseline in the main. More of a flatter ball off the forehand side from Michalski. And that was the shot that delivered the first set to the way of Team Kazakhstan.
By 7 games to 6.
Nearly an hour and 20 minutes, that opening set. Jeff, if we get 2 more of those, we'll still be here next year.
Quite right. And we will be thirsty and hungry. There we go.
Really puts in Savers getting into it with the DJ. Getting ready to party, bring in the new year. So Timofey Skatov, Team Kazakhstan, a set to the good here. And they're still looking for their first match win in this United Cup. Set away from doing so here.
To serve. Love 15.
Well, it was a turbulent opening set. Set points for both players, and Josh Eagle still courtside. Josh, you pick up on anything in terms of the body language from the two players?
No, not necessarily. I think for me, Skatov was probably just slightly the better player in that first set and did deserve to win. Just the consistency of his ball striking. I still think
30-15.
long term, there's a lot of upside to Skatov's game if you can just add a little bit more variation, work on that first serve, and he's very solid technically. I think the one thing that really hurt Michalski was on the set points he missed 3 forehands, and I just think technically under pressure it broke down a fraction.
Oh, brilliant from Skatov. A game of cat and mouse at the net. Kazakh able to come out on top.
Terrific stuff, wasn't it? This was a good drop volley. He's got back quickly enough to set himself for the forehand. No tweener for him. Good decision.
Yeah, you can just get a look at the top spin he's able to generate. Half a chance here in the first game of the second set.
(40-30).
Continuing to return from very deep in the court. Perhaps surprisingly, between these two players, neither of them the biggest on tour, still yet to have a break of serve.
Deuce.
Josh, I agreed with you with that forehand of Michalski. It's just not, doesn't have enough shape, and for me, as I mentioned earlier, I think he just opens up a little soon, and that's where, when the pressure's tight, if you've got a technical weakness, it will come to the fore, and you were spot on in that tie break when it was there to be had. That's the shot that just let him down.
Advantage to
I think you're
Poland.
right, Jeff, and I think just an awareness factor. Skatov probably a little raw still on terms of awareness, where you'd be pummeling that forehand, you'd be hitting every ball to Michalski's forehand just to try and break it down, and then that could just certainly break down his confidence as well, and just really expose a player and make them feel really uncomfortable. But Skatov, he's just standing so deep in the court here, it's incredible.
Deuce.
There's the error on the forehand from Michalski again. Opportunity here for
Absolutely,
Skatov.
I'd just like to see Skatov just, you know, hit 3, 4, 5 balls in a row right now to that forehand, and just really make him feel an enormous amount of pressure that he really knows this forehand can break down.
Half a chance again for Skatov, and not able to make it count.
Letvasev. Use.
First game of the second set continuing in a similar fashion to the first. Yet to see a break. Just sense there might be one coming soon. Oh, it's a beauty from Skatov. That time getting up closer to the baseline.
Advantage, Team Kazakhstan.
Looks as if it might be a few more notes there for his coach, Jose Altur. Can Skatov force the break this time?
That is a very
certainly can.
Team Kazakhstan.
Much more quality on the return and able
First
to
game,
control the
second
point
set.
as a result. And building up a real head of steam now, Timofey Skatov. Jeff, we saw him really dominating with the forehand there.
Yeah, it's a very heavy forehand. Determination of what's a heavy forehand is the speed of which the ball is hit and the revolutions on the ball as well. And my geek predictor here, he's rating at 7.39 as far as heaviness. An average would be 6.5, so it's a very heavy forehand that he hits. And you can see he's always searching for that forehand as well. Very limited numbers being hit from the backhand side. In fact, hunting the forehand. He's rating at 92%, so a huge margin of his shots. He's hunting for the forehand, but when he hits it, it is very, very heavy stroke.
Guys, I think his forehand is so good. You courtside here, sitting right on the baseline. It's impressive just how big he hits the ball, and I think if anything, he can hit even more forehands. I think sometimes he gets caught hitting too many backhands. So for a guy who's got as good a forehand as that, I think he can hit even more.
$15 left.
Yeah, there's no doubt there's a real high potential shot in there for Timofey Skatov, the forehand. Build his game around it.
$15.
From Michalski. And Timofey Skatov, we mentioned,
15 and 30.
a former junior world #1, and well, he's followed a fairly well-trodden path. Born in Kazakhstan, but moved to Russia aged just 1, and and at age 17 made the move to Valencia in Spain. You think of other Russian players, Andrei Rublev, has really developed his tennis in Barcelona, Daniil Medvedev in south of France. Opportunity to get the weather, the access to the clay courts. There's no doubt he's got a clay court style.
30 all.
I just wonder, you see it a lot with really, really good juniors, and we know he's been #1 in the world. Sometimes they, you know, the focus on winning as opposed to developing the game sometimes hurts them in the long run. And I just wonder whether that's the case a little bit here with Skatov. I still think he can come forward, he can volley better, he can use a single-handed slice. There's a lot of extra things that he can really improve in what is already a very solid game.
Oh, he's found the line. Looked to be heading wide, but
30-14.
just licking the line.
Yeah, there wasn't much shape on the ball. It was hit very flat. But it was hit with purpose. Pretty flat, nice long finish, step forward, beautifully directed.
And a chance here to immediately break back. Skatov able to outlast him.
Deuce.
It's a disappointing miss there from Michalski. It's the kind of point he needs to find a way to win.
Advantage, Team Kazakhstan.
Just looking a little weary, I think, right here. Michalski just going through a bit of a flat spot. He's had to work pretty hard physically, but also emotionally in this match, and not getting the result he wants. So he's just got to try to find a little bit of energy right about now in this match.
Nice touch there. He has been the more prepared of the two players to finish at the net.
I like it. I think this is what he needs to do more often. He's got to try and shorten the points a little, try and finish at the net. He's capable coming forward, and I just feel as the match goes on, the longer these rallies are, they're favouring Skatov at the moment.
Advantage, Team Kazakhstan.
Yeah, you just see there the average rally length so far, 6 shots. That's fairly high for the ATP Tour. More often see that around 4. And plenty of meters covered from both players. It's a match with the potential to become very physical.
Game, Team Kazakhstan.
And another tough game that goes the way of
Team
Timofey
Kazakhstan
Skatov,
leads by 2 games to 0.
who's now really getting a hold of this match. Just sense here, Jeff, there might be an opportunity for Skatov to build up a real head of steam.
Yeah, it's a test here for Michalski. I think he's equal to the task. He seems very emotionally strong and resolute, but confidence of Skatov is high. Things could change here relatively quickly if Skatov get away to a double break.
Love 15.
Just looked a little wary there. Michalski forced into the corners again, and this match really starting to move in Skatov's favour. Oh, it's another rocket of a backhand down the line.
15-30.
There's very little room for error on this shot. Just behind the baseline, very flat, but pinpoint accuracy. All you can say is too good if you can keep making that shot. Oh, that's good, is it? Wow. It's something special.
30 on.
Well, the previous backhand looked fairly low percentage. I'm not sure how many times out of 10 he'd make that one.
A half? Not even one. That was amazing.
Barely had the energy to celebrate. Oh, he's got him. Skatov's turn
30-40.
to light up the Pat Rafter Arena.
Yeah, some magical shots here. This is a good little dink. Had a lot of court to cover at full stretch, hitting around the outside of the ball. There it is, curling it from right to left. Fabulous.
And it brings up a chance for a double break. The winners just keep on coming.
Well, that I think has hit the line as well. It looked uncomfortable, it was high and awkward, and it's been a bit of an Achilles heel for him, but it just found the back of the line.
Live electronic line calling, of course, here at the United Cup. Can't argue with any line judges.
Skatov really spreading the court a lot now with that
Advantage.
forehand. He's got
Team
full
Kazakhstan.
control of that shot. He's got shape, he's got pace, he's got the ability to get some extra angle because of the extra spin he gets on the ball.
22 shots, another long rally, and the legs definitely looking heavy for Michalski. But he was able to load up enough for another huge winner. Josh, you're down there courtside just beside him. It looks as if he could be making his last stand here.
Yeah, he's just throwing absolutely everything at him at the moment, just living so dangerously. Skatov on the flip side's looking as fresh as a daisy.
It's looking like a young Josh Eagle.
Well,
Advantage, Team
I'm liking
Poland.
this from Team Poland. They're just down and out on the scoreboard, but he's hanging in, he's throwing everything at him. But just like to see maybe serve volley, continue to keep these points short, because to come back and win this match, it's going to be a big ask from this scoreline.
Deuce.
Also just highlights the difference, doesn't it, when you're ranked 250 in the world, Michalski, and it's a different intensity, isn't it? Playing on a big arena like this, representing your nation, you just wonder how much of that has hurt him physically or been taken out of him so far in this match.
Advantage, Team Poland.
Potentially big match in the context of this tie, and indeed the United Cup. Team Poland currently leading this tie 1-0 after Iga Świątek's win. That's a really gutsy hold to serve from Daniel Michalski, who keeps himself in this match.
Team Kazakhstan leads by 2 games to 1.
2-1. So while the players catch their breath, we'll take a chance to take you into the Brisbane outdoors and see the Brisbane Valley Rail Trail, the longest of its kind in Australia. 161 kilometres of disused rail corridor. It's been opened up to walkers, bikers, horse riders. Great way to get to know some of the smaller towns on the outskirts of Brisbane. There's a dozen national parks in the Brisbane region, so plenty to do downtown, but you're never far away from nature either.
I think I really admire Michalski's ability to back himself. He hit 3 screaming winners on the lines in that last game, but he continues to do so. I think if someone's got the ability to just decide to make what sort of the decision to make what sort of shot you want to play according to where the ball is on the court and forget about the score, I think that's got some merit.
So a real battle here on the Pat Rafter Arena. Number 2 men's singles between Team Poland and Team Kazakhstan. Former world #1 junior Timofey Skatov has control early in the second set, and he leads by 1-0. Get head speed there from
59.
Skatov. The ball fizzing out of the racket. It's a 15th forehand winner of the match from the Kazakh. It's getting to the stage where you start to feel sorry for the tennis ball. Certainly not a lot of feel and finesse going on out here.
Well, he missed the return, but Josh made the point earlier that Skatov serves almost exclusively the kicker to the backhand, and it's very clear that Michalski's ready for it. He's leaning in that direction straight away. That makes life a lot easier for him. So you wonder whether his advisors in the team zone, Captain Bublik has mentioned that to him. There's one to the forehand and was rewarded because you'd imagine that his opponent just wasn't ready for it and thus ballooned it long. So good to see finally a change-up.
There's Captain Alexander Bublik. He might not make it to midnight on New Year's Eve if he's that tired.
Let Hassan.
There's always the chance, of course, Jeff, that he's telling him to hit, you know, a load of drop shots and underarm serves and try everything in the magic book.
Yeah, he's not without variety.
It's an interesting one, though, isn't it? If you could, in a funny way, almost combine the mindset of Bublik and Skatov, you'd meet in the middle, wouldn't you?
Bit of a hybrid.
A player in Skatov who's almost overly disciplined with bringing the same play over and over, and Bublik who, well, anything's possible from point to point. But a strong hold there for Skatov, and certainly a big favourite for this match now. Team Kazakhstan's first win in the United Cup, if he can get it. Tough 5-love defeat to Team Switzerland to kick off their campaign. I have to say, Team Switzerland, Jeff, looking strong. Stan Wawrinka rolling back the years, Belinda Bencic, got good young second players, and that may well come down in Group B to a big match between Team Switzerland and Team Poland to try and make that city final.
Yeah, both teams well credentialed.
I know Josh Eagle is. He's got his eye on Team Switzerland. He was telling me all about it. I think he's a big Wawrinka fan.
Let second serve.
No, guys, I think the key to the United Cup is having such a well-balanced all-around team, and I just like Switzerland's chances here in Brisbane. You know, you've got good #2 players in Heusler in the men's, and also Jill Teichmann in the women's, and Wawrinka, gee, played impressive last night, 37 years of age, but showed us all here in Brisbane why he's a 3-time Grand Slam champ.
La 40.
just fatigue. It's just absolutely set in big time down here for Michalski. Just completely gone, I think, physically at this last change of ends. He was smashing drinks and gels and even biscuits, anything he could get into the body, but maybe just a little too late.
Yeah, 3 chances here once again for the double break for Skatov.
Let herself.
Well, no footwork whatsoever there on the backhand from Michalski, and a double break it is.
5-4 games to 1.
Timofey Skatov now racing towards the win. He leads by a set and a double break. So we're here in the southern hemisphere, and of course it's summertime in Brisbane, known as the River City. Plenty of great rooftop vantage points for a swim, maybe even a cold beverage. Life revolves around the southeast Queensland's waterways and the beautiful South Bank Parklands precinct. Certainly brings a bit of beach to the city. Plenty of ways to enjoy the river. You can have a meal beside it, check out the restaurants and cafes. It's a great time to be in Brisbane.
Pero no te confíes. No te confíes, que yo conozco mucho.
Timofey Skatov here of Team Kazakhstan in the driving seat, looking to level this tie at 1 match apiece. We were discussing that this Group B might come down to the match still to come between Team Switzerland and Team Poland. Team Poland, an interesting one. The 2 top 10 players, of course, and world number 1 Swiatek and world number 10 Hubert Hurkacz, but maybe not quite the same depth. Number 2 player here, Michalski, has shown some promise, but certainly not the finished article yet. It's always a feature of team sports, the different dynamics in the team makeups.
Yeah, you get a good team as opposed to a team of individuals. Obviously, can make a difference, and depth is really important in your playing roster.
Should say the number 2 women's player for Poland is a quality player in her own right, Magdalena, top 50 player, so
15,
there's some real depth there. Of course, the singles to come tomorrow. Hubert Hurkacz will take on Team Kazakhstan's captain and number 1, Alexander Bublik, and Zibek Kulambayeva will take on Magdalena. Certainly looks as if the tie is going to be level at 1-1 heading into those singles tomorrow. Michalski, I'm sure, will try and throw everything at this one to try and hang around. And he certainly threw everything at that return.
He's actually been started to mix up his first serve a little bit better. This one at the body, pretty handy, but gee, the return is something special.
Oh, and he's got him. Michalski perhaps a little predictable with a volley, but it's a quality pass from Skatov.
Yeah, volley not quite with enough depth or pace. Nevertheless, difficult shot to make. Skatov, but he was up to the challenge. Yeah, a short ball there that's difficult for those that use a heavy semi-western or western grip. Needed to just open the face there and just get under the ball, keep it in play.
Deuce.
Again, the short ball catching out Skatov.
Advantage, Team Poland.
And if Daniel Michalski is to find a way back into this match, he has to find a way to break here. Third chance.
Deuce.
A nice change up on the serve from Skatov.
Advantage, Team Kazakhstan. Game, Team Kazakhstan.
Skatov able to fend off the break points and maintain the double break advantage. Now just a game away from Team Kazakhstan's first win here at the United Cup.
It's taken him a long time to mix up that serve, but he's just started to have some variation. It's been paying dividends.
And Josh Eagle there, looking relaxed.
I'm loving the action down here courtside. It's been a great display from Timofey Skatov, and I'm sure he'll learn a lot. And he played well in his first match, we know, against Switzerland. And I also think playing on a big court, you get a lot of information, you get a lot of data. He'll be able to look at this and see that maybe he hits a lot of his serves to the backhand. And when you're ranked 140, like Timofey Skatov is, you don't get the opportunity to have the benefits of that week in, week out. So this is a really valuable week. And for me, I think Skatov's in good form and could be one of the breakout players, as you often see early in the new year. Someone play really well in the first couple of weeks and then go on and have a great year. So that possibly could be Timofey Skatov.
Are we talking Aslan Karatsev proportions? Semi-finalist Aussie Open?
Settle down.
Yeah, that was quite something.
(30-15).
Definitely a player with good potential. Jeff, he moves well, he hits a big ball, but probably just needs to refine his game in certain areas.
Yeah, add some more variety to his game. You get the impression that he'll play well and look good against a certain style of player. Others may expose him. We saw last game a couple of short low balls were difficult for Skatov, so if he plays somebody who's able to execute a good slice and bring him forward out of his comfort zone, it'll be a little bit more challenging for Skatov, but he's certainly got the bones of a good game, the basics, the fundamentals, something to build on. Oh, that was still a shank in golfing terminology.
Stepped inside the court, but couldn't quite find the target. Michalski, to his credit,
leads by 5 games
found
to 2.
a hold of serve to hang around here. Well, not too far from the Pat Rafter Arena, the city centre of Brisbane, CBD. It's a beautiful spot, and I'm sure it will be very busy tonight. The population of Brisbane around 2.47 million, and I'm sure many of them will be down in the city to bring in the new year. Fireworks displays, that's the South Bank parkland and the beach. Fireworks displays and plenty of partying to bring in the new year in just a little under 5 hours' time.
Enjoying himself, isn't he, Michalski? We've mentioned it a few times. This is a rare opportunity for this man to be on the big stage and as Josh mentioned earlier, have access to lots of information, technology and data, etc., that hopefully he can take away from this. He's not dead yet. I mean, he's still the sort of fellow that looks as if he's prepared to keep going for shots at any situation. So 5-2 looks a bit grim. It ain't over till it's over.
Time.
So the #2 men's singles here between Team Poland and Team Kazakhstan, and it's Timofey Skatov, Team Kazakhstan, with a chance to level the tie as he serves for the match here.
Love.
Just his third ace. May not win this match.
15-all.
Daniel Michalski, in fact, the chances are he won't, but he can certainly look back on it and know that he's left everything out here at the Pat Rafter Arena. Competed well.
Yeah, he's been stoic.
Bublik going to do himself some harm there. Not the most dynamic of movements we've seen from the big man.
Oh, yes. Not much margin for error there, but again, beautifully struck and just millimeters inside the sideline.
The return left hanging in the middle of the court.
30-all.
And it's a 17th forehand winner for Skatov. And another good heavy first serve brings up a first match point for Timofey Skatov. And he seals it with another.
Team Kazakhstan, 2 sets to love, 7-6, 6-2.
The delight clear to see a match that was a real battle in the opening set. Skatov running away in the second, and he takes it 7-6, 6-2. As has become the norm here at the United Cup, goes over to thank the opposition captains, and it's a moment for him to enjoy a big win here in the Pat Rafter Arena and levels this intriguing tie at 1 rubber apiece. It certainly looks a player with some real potential, but he's not getting much love from his captain, Alexander Bublik, just yet.
Not just yet. Well, it's terrific really to see Team Kazakhstan get a win on the board. They lost 5 rubbers to 0 to Switzerland, so this will give them some pleasure and give them a little lift, and well deserved. He's certainly got a weapon Skatov with his forehand, and probably needs to have a look at someone like a Rafa from the point of view that, yeah, Rafa's got a big forehand. He looks to go for it all the time, but he's built other weapons around it. You know, he's more than capable of coming forward, stealing the net position. So just needs to keep adding a few tricks to his trade, so to speak, Skatov, because once you've got a weapon, well, that's a good start. But at the moment, it's just a bit one-dimensional, but there's possibilities for the future.
There certainly are, and Daniel Michalski showed that he's got some potential as well. Certainly showed a lot of fight. We had Josh Eagle courtside. He's now on the court, ready to speak to our winner.
Timothy, congratulations. You just seemed to get a lot better as the match went on.
I don't hear.
You played really well, but as the match went on, you seemed to get a lot better after a difficult first set. On 8 set points, you played really well as the match went on.
I mean, yeah, it was really tough match, but actually my captain is not happy because, like he said, I played too long and today is New Year and we have to celebrate a bit. But okay, I tried to play as fast as possible.
Talk about celebrations. It's the new year tomorrow. Will you guys go out and celebrate your first victory as a team tonight?
Yeah, I think we'll go somewhere. We didn't decide yet because we don't know what time we finish, but for sure, yeah, we'll have some time to relax today and to keep fighting tomorrow.
You've looked really comfortable. You played 2 very good matches. You were a former world junior #1. What's next for you? What's your goals for next season?
I mean, the goal is just to improve every day, just making my job, what my coach said to do, what I have to improve, and just getting better and better, and the results will come.
And your captain here, he must be very proud of how well you played today.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't know, he said I could play a bit faster, but I will do next time.
Well done, guys. You're on the board. Congratulations. Great win today.
Thank you.
Well, a nice interview there from Timofey Skatov, and the influence of captain Alexander Bublik clear to see. He's a big character, and he's the real leader of this team on and off the court, and he will be very happy with Timofey Skatov's work, and as he should be. It's a big win for this young man, and I'm sure it won't be the last time we see him playing on a big court and getting a win.
It's a big step up here, isn't it? Here he is hitting tennis balls to the crowd when in past occasions he's been on a backcourt someplace in a challenger level event. So what an opportunity. As we have a look at the summary here, the first serve percentages from both men, impressive. The points won though at the first serve from Skatov's point of view, very, very impressive, 80%. And the forehand winners, as we mentioned, well, that was a standout part of Skatov's game, something really to build on, we would imagine. Break points, only 2 of 10, so he gave himself plenty of opportunities. However, he was mentally tough enough to overcome those sort of loss of opportunities and carried on. So a well-deserved victory, I think, in the end for Skatov, and you know, he's going to be looking forward to his next match here at the United Cup, I'm sure.
Yeah, certainly will. He's had a couple of good matches now. Tough 3-set loss in